Well, it's funny, and somebody had asked a question earlier about you know, pitfalls along the way or roadblocks. I talk about how personal business is to us, and you know, I've had 2 very personal partnerships dissolve, and I let the restaurants go in both situations because I didn't want to fight over them, I thought they were, and my appreciation of them was I loved creating them. I was willing to let them go when the partnerships didn't go well. Why do partnerships typically not go well? Because of personalities. So I could have been a little too personal on occasion. When does the involvement of a variety of different people end up causing you hardship, or when is it difficult? From the moment you involve other people's opinions, it becomes difficult. But it's also the only way, I think, unless you're a genius, which she is, she would deny that. But I am very much a collaborator. I think I'm far more a collaborator than you know. I love to get everybody's opinion and then try and sift through as much of it and make it as much of a you know, a group thing as possible. Everybody in here has an opinion about a restaurant, and I guarantee if we got all together, we could probably come up with a pretty awesome idea for a new place that Boston doesn't have.
My parents were, you know, I'm always curious. I've been promoting the second cookbook that just came out recently, and I've been going around the country, you know, at book signings and such, and that's a very, you know, people are curious about that. You know, what do your parents think? And then I actually did a book signing down in Texas, where I'm from, and my parents came to that book signing. And so when the person asked me the question, I could finally turn to them and say, Mom and Dad, what did you think? Because I've always made up this answer of what I think they thought. But they were reluctantly supportive, but more on the reluctant than on the supportive. They live in Dallas, and I was here, and I was 23, 24 years old. And so when I told them I'm quitting this really stable, wonderful job where they take care of me and they pay me a lot of money, and they
sexy job,
you know, a lot of room for advancement. They fly me around,
wardrobe.
Yep, fancy clothes, everything. I'm quitting my job, and I'm going to go work at a restaurant for $7 an hour. There wasn't a lot that they could actually do from Texas, and so I think they knew that. They knew that that they couldn't forbid me to do it. So they tried really, really hard to be supportive, but I know it was hard for them. I know that they worried a lot. And I remember at the time thinking, I know what I'm doing. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. And of course now I employ many people who are in their early 20s, and I look at them and I'm like, you don't know anything. You don't know what you're doing. So don't make any big decisions right now. Just, you know, kind of let's wait till you get a little bit more life experience. Absolutely. I definitely didn't expect it. I didn't expect to have 4 bakeries or a restaurant. I expected to have 1 bakery, and like I said, I bought a condo upstairs from the bakery so that I could more easily run downstairs and bake. So I really intended that I would always bake. But you're right, my role has shifted, you know, it's totally different now. I never bake now. I bake if I'm working on a cookbook, but other than that, I don't bake. And instead, you know, I manage. And the transition was difficult in the middle, but now I embrace it. So in the middle, I tried really hard to do both. I tried to spend a little time baking, and then I tried to manage my staff, manage customers, manage vendors, and just do all of the business end. And what I found was, as we got busier and busier, the baking suffered, because that was the one thing that I could say, you know what, instead of making tarts today, I'll make them tomorrow because I need to pay this bill, or I need to, you know, deal with this person's about to quit, I need to talk them out of it. And so I eventually morphed into just not baking at all and just focusing on the management part of it. It was a little bit difficult in the beginning, but I quickly fell in love with a different part of you know, running a bakery. You know, I love the baking, absolutely, but now I really love the the managing part and the leading part and the trying to develop people who work for me and try to do what Christopher was saying earlier, which is we spend a lot of time thinking about how do we create a great environment for the staff. Because honestly, if we create this great place for staff, they're the ones out doing all the hard work. They'll be much better equipped to do a great job as bakers, cooks, servers, managers, whatever.